You are more exhausted than any human who has ever lived. And the reason has nothing to do with how hard you work. It has everything to do with something that was taken from you before you were born. Think about your day for a second. You wake up already behind. You check your phone before your feet touch the floor. You eat while doing something else. You feel guilty when you stop moving. That feeling, that constant low-level pressure to be productive, feels completely normal. It isn't. It's new. Shockingly new. For 95% of human history, nobody felt that. And what early humans did with their days instead reveals something about your brain that modern psychology is only starting to understand. Anthropologist Marshall Solin studied hunter-gatherer societies for years. He wanted to know how much time they actually spent surviving. The answer was 3 to 5 hours a day. That's it, not 8. Not 10. 3 to 5. The rest of the time was not spent working harder. It was spent doing the one thing your nervous system is quietly begging you to do more of. Nothing. Just being present with other people. Solins called them the original affluent society. Not wealthy in things, wealthy in time. And here's the part that makes this personal. Your brain is the same brain they had. Same wiring, same needs, same reward systems. But your life looks nothing like the environment that brain was built for. And your body knows it. Early humans didn't just rest. They did something psychologists now recognize as one of the most powerful cognitive processes a human brain can perform. They let their minds wander. Not scrolling, not consuming. Just thinking. Neuroscientists call this the default mode network. It's the system that activates when you're not focused on a task. And it does something remarkable. It connects unrelated ideas. It processes emotions you haven't had time to feel. It builds the mental models you use to understand other people. In other words, it makes you more human. Studies show people who allow their minds to wander regularly are more creative, more empathetic, and better at solving complex social problems. Early humans weren't accidentally doing this. They were doing it for hours every single day. You get maybe 12 minutes before you reach for your phone. But what nobody expected is what happened during those hours of rest. Block 3. The conversation that built your brain. The main activity of an early human afternoon was not hunting. It was talking. Researchers at Harvard studied modern tribes that still live the way our ancestors did. They found that 80% of all conversation was about other people. Not survival, not food, not threats. People. Who did what? Who said what? Who can be trusted? This is what we dismiss today as gossip. But it wasn't gossip. It was the original social software. Every human in the group needed to know who was cooperative, who was deceptive, who was safe. And the only way to know was to talk about it constantly. Your brain still does this. Every time you catch yourself thinking about other people's behavior, replaying conversations, imagining how someone will react to something you say, that's not overthinking. That's 300,000 years of social processing running exactly as designed. The problem isn't that you do it, the problem is that you do it alone. Early humans processed socially, together. Out loud, you process alone, silently, at 2 a.m., and that changes everything about how it feels. Here's something early humans never felt. Boredom. Not because their lives were exciting, because boredom is a modern psychological condition. It requires a specific mental state, one where you feel like you should be doing something, but you're not. Early humans had no should. There was no schedule they were failing to meet, no productivity they were falling behind on. When they sat and did nothing, it was just sitting. The feeling of wasted time does not exist in nature, it was invented, and research shows it was invented alongside the clock. Before mechanical timekeeping, humans experienced time as cyclical, seasons, hunger, light, dark. After the clock, time became linear, a resource you could lose, a thing you could waste. That single shift in how humans perceive time created a form of low-level anxiety that has been building in our collective nervous system for 300 years. You feel it every Sunday night. But here's what makes this impossible to unsee once you know it. Early humans who lived in what we call primitive conditions had measurably lower levels of cortisol, the stress hormone, than modern humans in developed countries. They faced predators, unpredictable weather, no medicine, no guarantee of food. And they were, by every biological measure, less chronically stressed than you. Not because their lives were easier, because their nervous systems were running the program they were designed to run. Yours is running the same program, in a completely different world. The question was what early humans did during the day. The real answer is that they lived in a way their brains were built for. And somewhere between then and now, the day got redesigned, and nobody asked your nervous system if that was okay. Leave a comment. What's one thing you would reclaim if you had 3 hours a day with no obligations? If this made you think differently about something, hit like. Subscribe if you want more questions like this, the kind that sounds simple but change the way you see everything. See you in the next one.